Casino games, including exclusive slots like Survivor and hundreds of live dealer games. Unlock Vegas magic and sign up for the BetMGM app. See BetMGM.com for terms. 18 plus, Alberta only. Please play responsibly. Subject to eligibility requirements.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. BetMGM operates pursuant to an operating agreement with the Alberta iGaming Corporation. Standard message and data rates may apply.
The Tom Gazzola Show on Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Presented by Bet365. Alberta, we are here to stay.
Just after 11 o'clock, good morning. Thank you for joining us here on The Frenzy, brought to you by Will Hawk Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky online. WillHawkBeefJerky.com, only available in Leduc. Go check them out. Tell them we sent you. Talk some Cowboys with the man, the legend, Trent. Only available in Leduc. I think actually, Donovan, I think we're due to go grab some of this Will Hawk Beef Jerky one of these days. Since Brandon's out of here at 11 o'clock, I nominate he to go down and grab us a bag or two. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, and young Connor here as well as we get you through the next hour. On the show, of course, continuing our look around the NFL. We're going alphabetical, which means today we're landing in New England. The Patriots out in Boston. Alex Barth's going to join us from 98.5. The Sports Hub covers the team, also the co-host of the Patriots Catch 22 podcast. It's an interesting year. The expectations, typically, I would think when you have a quarterback going into year 3 that just took you to a Super Bowl, would be pretty high. But the Patriots don't have that fourth place schedule. They will probably have a little bit more of a tougher challenge. They'll have a target on their back. How will they respond? There was a little bit of controversy in the organization over the offseason with their head coach. I don't know how much of a distraction that has been, if any, but we might have to ask Alex about that. Of course, we'll do the mailbox. Our text line, 1-833-401-1440. And we'll do 3 questions with Josh Fenwick. 3 rounds with Josh Fenwick. Not 3 rounds. They're not 3 questions, not 5 questions, not in or out. It'll be 3 rounds. Also, just want to give you guys a little more information because we are getting closer to the 3rd annual Fantasy Football League with the Frenzy. Not Fantasy Frenzy, but the Football League. We've got some pretty cool news as our 2-time defending champion is back, looking to make it 3 straight as the Defenders. That is the team name. And I had reached out to him and said, hey, you got a spot. That's part of the rules of our fantasy league. It's a 12-team league. CB Radio, Connor Brandon Radio get a team, and then the defending champion gets a team. But you do have to buy your spot. Very nice of the challenger or the champion. I don't know if he wants us to put his full name out there. But rather than just buying one $20 entry, he put in $100. So there you go. We're going to immediately off the hop have $50 raised for the champion and our charity of choice, the Canadian Cancer Society. 99% sure that's the route we're going to take here. I'll be partaking in the Run for the Cure once again. So if you want to donate to me on that one, I can hook you up with the link as well. But we'll be making that as our donation. We've got a few other people in there as well. This is going to be happening. We'll be ramping it up as we roll on towards the start of the season. The draw will take place on Friday, September 4th in our second segment. We'll bring in Donnie or Mackenzie, whoever wants to come in as our official master ceremony, pull out the names. The draft will happen on the 8th. That's Tuesday, 6 o'clock. So following the Jason Greger show, Brandon and I will hunker down in studio and try to draft a championship team. But if you want to get in, all you have to do is e-transfer $20 per entry to Connor at sports1440.ca. Please include your email along with that, and we'll do the draw and have some fun. I think we've got 10 entries already. So if you want to get in on that, Connor at sports1440.ca. Quickly, Husks asking, CH, how much does Keenan Allen have left in the tank? I was surprised no one signed him. I love it. Yeah, you know what? I think for Keenan Allen, the one thing that I would look at is that he probably doesn't want to partake in training camp. Like, he's past that at this point. He knows how to take care of himself. He's been in the league for a long time now. I don't think he's Keenan Allen of 2019 or whatever it might have been. But third down, this guy's incredible. He finds a way to get that soft spot in the defense. He's not going to drop the ball very rarely. And I think he's going to be a really big weapon for this Indianapolis Colts team. You know, when they need it. He's never been a burner. He's always created space with his route running. I think he and Devontae Adams, probably the top route runners in the NFL right now. There's a few other guys in the category, but that's how he gets open. So third and short, third and Keenan. I think it's going to work out pretty well for the Colts. And just to give Daniel Jones another weapon, I like it. We'll see how that division plays out. I think the Jags will be tough once again. That Houston Texans team is incredibly tough, but it's a good move, I would say, for the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, why don't we get to it now? We ready, Donnie?
Oh yeah, we're ready to roll here.
We'll do 3 rounds with Mr. Josh Fenwick.
What ring the bell? All right. Ding, ding.
Round 1.
All right, number 1. What is the most interesting sports conspiracy theory? MJ being suspended from the NBA for gambling, or the NBA rigging the 1985 draft to send Patrick Ewing to the New York Knickerbockers?
So since I went second yesterday, I get the honor and privilege of going first. For me, I would lean the MJ side because I look at the rigging the draft stuff, and I use rigging in air quotes. I just think that stuff's such a joke. Like, I know people talked about that with like the Bedard stuff and Austin Matthews back in the day, Gavin McKenna recently, of course, in this past NHL draft. I think that stuff's such a joke, or even Cooper Flagg there. Like, there are so many examples of just sometimes things happen in a draft lottery, right? Or just in a draft in general. So I always look at that stuff and kind of think, get out of here. I don't believe in that for a second. If I was to buy into one of them, it would be the MJ one, just because, as I previously outlined, like, I don't buy into the draft rigging. I don't. Connor?
Give me the draft rigging, because here's the thing about that one. The New York Knicks, they needed a player. They needed someone to put them back on the map. This is one of the marquee franchises in the NBA. They needed a player. Patrick Ewing was there. Out of Georgetown, I do believe. Do we know who else went after him? They did not want to risk Detlef Schrempf being the guy, or Charles Oakley. Love the guy. They didn't want him. Wayman Tisdale? No, the New York Knicks needed Patrick Ewing. And the one thing you can do about that, here's the thing. To rig the draft, it's not that hard. What was it? A cold envelope?
Allegedly.
That's the rumor they put in the freezer. So who needed to do that? 2 people. The commish and the guy who put in the ballots into the draw thing. 2 people. If the NBA was to ban Michael Jordan for gambling, do you know how many people would know? It can't be true, because it would have got out by now. This one for the Patrick Ewing thing, I would believe that's way more likely, because it only would take 2 people, and you just got to silence 2 people. The conspiracies always leak out. And I think if Michael Jordan, the face of the NBA, come on, that guy was an MVP. He was a champion. Even at that time, he was considered the GOAT, right? In the conversation, I would have got out. So I like that one. It's more fun. But realistically, I think the better one is the one that's more possible.
But what about the Shohei stuff? That would be, I guess, the counterpoint. No?
What do you mean?
Well, like, I mean, everybody looks at...
Shohei's not suspended.
No, but like, everybody looks at the Shohei and goes, I know nothing really became of it other than the interpreter. But is the to me, like, the interpreter, is he the scapegoat? Nobody knows. Right? Like, there are so many ways to cover up these superstars being involved in scandals, right?
What if Michael Jordan just forgot to speak English at that point? Shohei's got that cover up built in.
What's the Josh? You'd probably remember this better than I would, but the memory trope in movies where they amnesia,
like Men in Black.
Amnesia. What if Michael Jordan suddenly got amnesia and suddenly forgot that English was a language?
Yeah.
Hey, anything is possible. I mean, also in that 85 draft, like, when you watch the replay, and this is the one that everyone's like, well, this is the smoking gun. They throw the Knicks envelope in harder And so they like crease a corner of it against the big
Just
dome.
saying. They're both fun,
They're both fun to think about.
but I just feel like one would have been proven by now.
I think you're right. I think the 85 one's been proven.
At least now we have credit cards and it would have shown up, right?
Listen, man, drafts are rigged. That's just the way it is. Over to number 2. Who looked more washed? Was it Shaq on the Celtics or Martin Brodeur on the Blues?
Man, when you go back, like I often forget that Martin Brodeur even played for the Blues at that point. Shaq's numbers weren't great, but like he was kind of on that tour where, the expectations were so low for him. His points per game only dropped down by 3 points from the previous year in Cleveland. And he still appeared in 37 games. So I'm going to lean Martin Brodeur 7 games. It was the first time in his career, and it was just 2 points, but his save percentage dropped under 900. The first time in his career, actually, since his rookie season. So just because it was so short and I barely remember it, I would say Martin Brodeur was more washed in St. Louis.
See, now, as someone who does remember washed Marty Brodeur in St. Louis, it was a great time. It didn't ruin, nothing could ruin Marty Brodeur's legacy. But I just feel like the Shaq angle here is so much more clowned on. Like the Marty Brodeur 7 games in St. Louis, I feel like it's just so forgettable, where the Shaq one just gets clowned on. So I'll lean the Shaq side because really you have to know puck to remember Marty Brodeur on the St. Louis Blues. I feel like that's the difference here. I don't feel like you have to know ball to remember Shaq and the tail end, really.
I mean, there might be people that don't remember that. They might remember the rainbow of jerseys, and that would be the only way you'd remember it.
He also did play, as you said, though, he did play more games.
Yeah.
Right? It was 39 you said?
37.
37 versus 7.
Of Brodeur's career, it was like 0.005 of his career was spent in St. Louis. Not very much.
That picture of Shaq in his Celtics jersey, though, is literally like the universal photo used for washed.
Yeah. Brodeur still went 3-3 too. I mean,
shout out.
Like that's 500 hockey. I just want to look at the Blues that year. Were they any good? Not really. They didn't have a point per game player.
Final round.
All right. Number 3. What's the better bet? Broncos at plus 2,000 to win the Super Bowl, or the Wild to win the Stanley Cup at plus 1,400?
I'll go Wild. Team I was all over last year. I'm going to continue to be all over this year. I had them as my cup pick for last season because I just believe at the end of the day, there is one defenseman better than Quinn Hughes in the NHL. That is Cale Makar. I believe there are very few wingers better than Kirill Kaprizov. I think they have every element you need to have to be a Stanley Cup champion. And they have, look at that goaltending tandem. Look at Quinn Hughes. There's not a better D group in the NHL for my money. The only thing they need is a center. They need one damn center. And if they can acquire said center this year, I think they are the clear option here, because I look at the Denver Broncos, and while they are a really, really good team, I still look and go, is there enough difference makers on offense to put this team over the top? I don't think there is. So I think Minnesota does. That's why I lean Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, hey, my argument against Minnesota is that division is extremely tough. You said better bet. Why, the better odds. What's going to pay more? That's the one that I would lean towards. And the Denver Broncos have a very solid team. We know the defense is elite. You look at their first team defense, no changes. That's the chemistry you want. Look at the second team. The only 2 additions on the depth chart are draft picks. Like they literally are like, we're good on this team. The only addition on offense was Jalen Waddle. Hell of a player, a deep threat if there ever was one. To complement Courtland Sutton, I actually think he's the perfect complement, because Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims, I don't think we're getting the job done. You need a burner to complement Courtland Sutton, who can go deep but can also work the middle of the field. J.K. Dobbins, when he's out there, he's going to be interesting. R.J. Harvey, they draft Jonah Coleman, who I know a lot of people who are in keeper leagues are excited about. If it's not for Bo Nix's injury, they probably go to the Super Bowl last year. And do they beat the Seahawks? Well, probably not. The Seahawks were the dynamic team. But if he can stay healthy, this Denver Broncos team, I like their chances. Now, there were factors last year, the Chiefs kind of fell off and the Bills and the Ravens weren't maybe the top teams. It won't be easy. It never is for either of these bets. But the Denver Broncos, I do like what they're doing as much as it pains me to say it.
They have a great roster, a great entirety of a roster, but I view them very similarly to the Dallas Stars, where it is so much depth without enough true superstardom on offense. Not like PS2 on defense, that's a different animal. But I view them very similarly to the Dallas Stars as just like, man, Bo Nix, he's not a Super Bowl winning QB to me. But I guess you could say the same thing about Sam Darnold. I guess the big difference there for me, JSN versus Jalen Waddle, not really close. I think things went really, really right for the Seahawks last year. But this Broncos team, it's so good all over the map. I just doubt it. And also, Bo Nix couldn't play football unless it was the fourth quarter last year.
That's the most important quarter.
But what was the stat last year in the third quarter? I'd have to look it up again, but it was something ridiculous. Like they were the lowest scoring team in the third quarter, right? And they didn't have a touchdown in the third quarter. Off the top of my head, I want to say it was like week 13 in the third quarter. I could be dreadfully wrong on that, but that was just off memory.
We had a good third quarter against the Chiefs. 7 of 8, 131. Had 2 touchdowns against the Packers.
What week
third?
though?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Because it was something blasphemous. It took them so long to score a third quarter touchdown off of memory. Because I watched every single Denver Broncos game last year. Because my group that I watch Sunday football with, we play it based on put the best game up on the main TV. Everybody's teams get a separate TV. We got 3 TVs set up. And so I watched every single Denver Broncos game. And Bo Nix was Mr. Fourth Quarter. But outside of that, the guy just could not show up.
Remember, though, second year. He's only getting better. His defenses are only going to get easier for him to read. Things should slow down. And I'll put a little blame on Sean Payton. Got to get those game plans coming out at halftime. We'll take a break. When we come back, we will talk about a team who was in the Super Bowl last season, did lose, but had a very good run. Lots of things to build on, reasons to be excited. The New England Patriot is The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Founded by a former pro motorsports competitor, Evolve Wheels and Tires brings decades of experience in custom wheels, lowering kits, lift kits, and accessories. Visit Evolve Wheels and Tires in West Edmonton, Edmonton's premium wheel specialists. Evolve your ride, evolve your experience.
Beer League Slow Pitch. It's an Alberta summer tradition.
I got shortstop. I'll take pitcher. Yeah, I'm just here for the dugout snacks.
When you're playing on the field, you need serious fuel. And there's only one MVP. Wilhock Beef Jerky. Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky and hit a home run with the team. It's the perfect snack for your summer sports.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Attention Alberta construction pros. For over 50 years, Japa Equipment Rentals has been your go-to for top-notch equipment and stellar service. Whether you need rentals or expert maintenance, we've got you covered. Stop by our Edmonton or Calgary locations today.
Kickoff is coming August 21st. Elks, Blue Bombers at Play Alberta Field at Commonwealth Stadium. It's Country Night presented by Innova. Dust off that Canadian tuxedo and bring the honky tonk to the field. Get your tickets at goelks.com/tickets.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Car shopping sucks. That's right. Going back and forth 100 times just to get a price. Give me your credit card for a test drive. What's all these extra fees? That sounds ridiculous. At Northgate, we do things a little differently. Good deals on new, pre-owned vehicles, good people, and a great selection. And don't forget about our employee pricing. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Recently, our company softball team lost the big game by 1 run. Then Dale tried to console us with the quote, "Winning isn't everything." Well, Dale and I are very different. I get early payout from Bet365. If my team goes up big, I get paid out instantly, even if they blow the lead later. Sound familiar, Dale? Thanks, Bet365.
If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. 18 plus all. T's and C's apply.
The Lawnmower Hospital.
You're looking for the best zero-turn mower? Go to the source. Hustler Turf in the Lawnmower Hospital. Hustler Turf started the zero-turn market in 1964, and they're still the kings of quality, durability, and performance. With versatile sizing from 34 to 104 inches, you'll have what you need to make your summer lawn care a breeze. Financing is always available. Check lawnmowerhosp.com.
The Lawnmower Hospital. The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440. Brought to you by Wilhuck Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky.
Welcome back to the Frenzy here on Sports 1440, streaming on YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, and Twitch. Brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, the home of Alberta's best beef jerky. Connor Halley, Donovan Paulson, Josh Fenwick, intern Connor with you here in the Sports 1440 studios. Hope you guys are having a great start to your Tuesday. Lots to get to still on the show, but right now we'll continue our look around the NFL training camps. We're going alphabetical. We're going to New England, a.k.a. Boston, to talk some Patriots here. This segment brought to you by Elks Nation. Check out the new website, elksnation.ca. Articles, podcasts, and more, breaking down the green and gold, the most in-depth double-E football coverage online, elksnation.ca, as we are joined by Alex Barth, covers the New England Patriots for 98.5, the Sports Hub in Boston. Alex, good afternoon. How are you doing today?
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, appreciate you joining us on the show today. And for the New England Patriots, extremely interesting offseason, of course. I think they exceeded everyone's expectations last year, going all the way to the Super Bowl, and no shame in falling to a very good Seattle Seahawks team. But they go out there, they make some moves this offseason, and there was storylines galore. Let's stay on the field here and talk about A.J. Brown. And it was probably the worst kept secret in the NFL's offseason. We knew he was going to end up with the Patriots. He's there now. How does he look, and how is that relationship with Drake May?
Yeah, he's looked really good. It did take him a little bit of time, about a week into training camp, to get going. It felt like they weren't on the same page right away. But the last 2 to 3 weeks, that thing's really taken off. And really, even in the last couple of days, you're starting to see the deep ball, which was the last thing that came to come together. But they've hit on a couple of deep ball connections in recent practices. So the really interesting thing to see, and this will start seeing it tomorrow when they begin joint practices with the Eagles of all teams, how it's clear that he can win, he can be a separator, and he can make an impact. But how does he impact the way the rest of the offense is handled? How does he impact the way the defense covers the rest of the offense, and him making opportunities for other players is, I think, how he's really going to unlock this next level in the offense, and Drake May.
And not just A.J. Brown. Obviously, Romeo Doubs coming over from the Packers. Demario Douglas had a good season last year. Kayshon Boutte as well. Matt Collins, he kept it interesting with the kind of the off-field antics. But how do you feel about this receiver room as a whole? And, was there a sense after that Super Bowl loss that this was a positioned group that they needed to improve?
I feel good about it. I think, yeah, there was definitely that sense. More long-term, and Romeo Doubs, the younger player. A.J. Brown's more of a quicker fix. They did move on from Stephon Diggs, but for a team that has really struggled to find good wide receiver play in the last 5 to 10 years, this is a legit room. I wouldn't say it's the best in the NFL, but it's definitely up there, top half, maybe top 10. So, there's still a guy like Kyle Williams who's in his second year who maybe shows some growth. They have a lot of size, a lot of physicality. Guys that can catch the ball outside the numbers down the field. These are areas that Drake May has success. So it's a pretty good wide receiver room. Again, not the best in the league, but definitely top half. But I think what helps is they built a wide receiver room that makes sense for Drake May and the way he plays. And so as good as the group is, I think that the fit just increases that a little bit. There's an old Bill Belichick idiom It's not about collecting talent. It's about building a team. And I think especially when you look at their wide receiver room, they really kind of embrace that with the way they put this room together, because it's players that make sense relative to each other and how they play, and then relative to Drake May.
We're taking a look at the New England Patriots with Alex Barth here on The Frenzy, and just looking at Drake May. I mean, it was an incredible jump from year 1 to year 2. The touchdown total goes up by 16, and at the same time, dropping the interception total down a couple. The 72% completion percentage to me was absolutely incredible on his way to a runner-up for the MVP type season. Going into year 3, what are the expectations for him?
For him to be right in that mix again and be a top 5 quarterback in the NFL, compete for the MVP, get this team back to the playoffs. And, you know, it's kind of hard to talk much about improvement after the way he played last year. He was so good. I think the big thing to look at is, you know, Josh McDaniels, the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. His offense is complicated, and him and Tom Brady put it together, you know, and Charlie Weiss before McDaniels and Bill O'Brien in there, but it's really the McDaniels offense. Put it together over 15 to 20 years. And so you're not going to drop something that took 20 years to put together on Drake May in his second year in the NFL, his first year in the system. You're going to put it together in pieces. So last year was kind of a base level. It was kind of the entry course in the McDaniels offense. And the next big step is going to be adding more responsibilities at the line of scrimmage, before the snap, audibles, hot routes, adjustments, just giving Drake May more power, something that made Tom Brady so good. And Bill Belichick used to talk about this. It wasn't just the good plays. He would always make sure the Patriots were never in a bad play, that if they got to the line and the play that was called was something that wasn't going to work based on the look that the defense was showing them, he would change it and knew how to get into a play that maybe wouldn't be a massive game, but at least wouldn't be a disaster, right? And so I'm not saying Drake May ran them into a ton of disasters last year, but that's graduate level stuff that you're not going to pick up in year 1. And so Drake May starting to learn some of that this year. And this is something that, you know, over the next few years, you'll see with them. I think when you talk about what's the expectation for him in terms of what's new, that's what I'm going to be looking for him to do, is a little more of that.
Alex Barth here with us, covering the New England Patriots. Alex, so I think a lot of people are very curious about this running back room, in particular Travion Henderson, because he's the flashy young name who's got that huge breakaway capability and can score some unbelievable touchdowns. Real highlight reel player. Is this the season that you see him break out fully, or is he going to be handcuffed a lot more than people think by Ramondre Stevenson?
It's going to be a split. And this is the way Josh McDaniels has always operated. Like, I know this is probably a fantasy football-based question. I get it a lot. Josh McDaniels has always been the boogeyman for fantasy players because it's a game plan offense. And one week they might run it 40 times. One week they might throw it 40 times. One week they might target a certain player excessively because they're hunting a matchup. Another week they might leave that player alone. So this is just part of how Josh McDaniels runs the team. And he's a big believer in, like, you don't want to run your running backs into the ground. He's not a guy that's going to have a running back that has, you know, that leads the league in touches. That's not how he operates. There's usually an early down kind of ground and pound running back, and then you have your passing down back. It's a little different with the dynamic with Stevenson and Henderson, because Henderson needs to come along as a pass blocker, but Stevenson's just more built for that ground and pound role that naturally comes with a little higher workload over the course of the season. There might be individual games where they feel like Henderson's a better fit, but it would be a massive change for Josh McDaniels to just say, all right, Travion Henderson's going to be the feature back, and he's going to get 75% of the touches. I feel like people keep waiting for that. And I also don't think that's what's best for Travion Henderson. If you looked at him at Ohio State, when he was that bell cow, he was not nearly as effective. They go out, they get Quinshon Judkins in the transfer portal his senior year, take some off Travion Henderson's plate, and his production actually goes up. So I think that's something McDaniels is cognizant of. I think it fits into how he generally calls plays. People keep waiting for Travion Henderson to just kind of get handed the keys to the offense. As long as Josh McDaniels is here, at least, I really don't think that's something that they're going to do.
To jump over to the defensive side of the ball here, obviously you saw the Devon Witherspoon deal. Christian Gonzalez probably next up. It's going to be the highest paid corner in the league again, because this mark gets set seemingly every week at this point. What do you think is realistic for a number on Christian Gonzalez?
So the Witherspoon contract went up to 33 AAV. So he's going to need to break that. It went up 1.9. So I don't think you're going to see a bigger increase in the AAV than 1.9. Like much bigger. That puts you at 34.9. Does that become 35? That would be, I think, 4 years, 140. If I'm doing the math right off the top of my head. Now, maybe the years are different, but just to use the base. Witherspoon got 101 guaranteed. That's a much smaller increase over the previous. So you're probably looking at somewhere between 102 and 105 guaranteed. But then there's the fully guaranteed. So that guaranteed number is not entirely real, despite what the word guaranteed means. You have to be on the roster. You have to be healthy, et cetera, et cetera. The fully guaranteed is you sign on the dotted line. You never play down a football again. This is the money you are going to get. That's where the big increase was, going from 50 to 58 with Witherspoon. So that number is probably going to need to be over 60. The question is it 60? Is it a minor increase? Are we talking more in the ballpark of 62, 63, 64, 65, which would be a bigger increase, 68, if it increases by the same amount? So for me, you're looking at probably 4 years, $33 million per total, 104, 105 guaranteed, 62, 63 fully guaranteed, which I would do. I think he is a top 2 cornerback in the league. I think he is a better player than Devin Witherspoon. That's just me. But that's probably the kind of contract. I don't know what they're talking about. In my mind, just looking at how these things have gone in the past, if it follows the pattern like we saw last year with Sauce Gardner and Derek Stingley, I would think that's what the contract ultimately ends up looking like, in that ballpark.
Okay, and then from a team standpoint, obviously last year was a dream season. People thought the Patriots would break out, and of course, they end up going to the Super Bowl. So what do you think is realistic for, like, if you had to cap a win total, like, what do you think that this team is really capable of? Because obviously the schedule gets substantially harder. Everything is teams are going to be looking at the Patriots now as a team that went to the Super Bowl last year. Things are going to get substantially harder. Like, I think we all think this team's better on paper, but what is realistic for the results of this season?
So I'll just start here. I think that there is a scenario where they are a better football team in terms of you turn on the tape and you watch them on a down-to-down basis, and it's just a higher level of execution. They can be a better football team with a worse record. I'm not ruling that out. I had them at 11 wins when the schedule came out, but closer to 10 than 12. In terms of the big picture, they should be in the playoffs again. Like, the baseline is the 10 wins back in the playoffs. I think anything less than that is a disappointment. They should be right there for the division. Maybe they lose it very late, but I think they're a better team than the Bills. I think if they get a home playoff game, they should win it. And then from there, it's so hard in the NFL to get back to a Super Bowl. I feel like it's unfair to expect them to go back. I mean, that's stuff that we were barely even doing late in the Brady Belichick era in terms of expecting multiple consecutive Super Bowl appearances, but they should be back in the playoffs, like bare minimum. I think a fair expectation is winning the division and winning a home playoff game. And then from there, like, the AFC Championship, I think would be great. I think if they could even get back to the AFC Championship, a lot of people would consider the season a pretty solid success, right? You're now in that game in back-to-back years. You've proven that what you're doing is sustainable. And then obviously anything beyond that would just be excellent if they get back to the Super Bowl, and then obviously if they win the Super Bowl.
Alex Barth joining us here on The Frenzy, taking a look at the Patriots. He covers the team with 98.5, the Sports Hub, down in Boston. Just looking at the offensive line, I know Will Campbell kind of came under some scrutiny in the postseason. And, you're going up against a Chargers who have good edge rushers, the Texans, who might be the best in the NFL, the Denver Broncos. Tough to be perfect in those games. But I really liked going out and getting Elijah Vera-Tucker from the Jets to throw him right in there at that left guard spot. How has the offensive line looked for you so far at camp?
The offensive line looks good. The offensive line has looked really good. I was actually just talking to somebody about this earlier today, that Will Campbell is maybe, compared to the expectations coming in, has exceeded expectations more than any player in camp. And it is worth noting, like you mentioned, that gauntlet he faced in the playoffs, he was hurt. He was playing on an MCL injury, and that impacted his ability to move. But he looks healthy, looks a little bit stronger. I think the game has slowed down for him. And the rest of the offensive line, starting offensive line, has been good too. They have some depth issues, but the starting offensive line has looked good. Adding Vera-Tucker, I think, was a good addition. The test is going to be, though, so that the offensive lines looked really good. They've looked really good against the Patriots defensive front. That's kind of a big question. They lost their best run-stopping defensive tackle in Kairos Tonga. They are very thin on the edge. They're playing a lot of inexperienced players at the top of the depth chart on the edge. Harold Landry, who was their best player at that position last year, is still on UP, hasn't practiced yet. So, is the offensive line look good because they're good, or do they look good because the Patriots defensive line actually might be a problem? It has been an interesting question, but tomorrow and Thursday, the Philadelphia Eagles are in here for joint practices, and we know the Eagles front is as good as it gets. So this line, Will Campbell, they're not going to get the kitchen sink thrown at them. They're going to get the whole kitchen. They're getting the refrigerator. They're getting the dishwasher, the plates, the bowls, the countertops. This is going to be a real test. So I think the lines look good to this point. They're going to get a real legitimate test over the next 2 days, the likes of which we hadn't seen. And then I think we'll have a much better idea of where they're actually at.
So with camp rolling on here, there's always those positional battles that pop up. Has there been any battles that have caught your eye, or any players that are starting to show up and maybe need some good reps here against a good Eagles team?
So a fun one has been the third running back battle, behind Stevenson and Henderson. Like, that guy is going to carry the ball too. And it initially looked like Lan Larison, who was UDFA last year, who had some hype, broke his foot, missed the season. Jim Miller, who was a 7th round pick. Miles Montgomery was a UDFA. Terrell Jennings had that role last year. That felt like a balanced competition. Then Miles Montgomery and Terrell Jennings get hurt in practice. So they signed Hassan Haskins, who was a standout at Michigan, was a Mike Vrabel draft pick in Tennessee. And now he looks like the favorite to win the job. So there's been a lot of back and forth there. Their cornerback battle's been interesting. Karan Prunty, their 5th round pick. They took a lot of heat for that pick at the time. People did not like it. He was projected to be a UDFA. He's had a good camp. He's moved into the role of a guy who could be a top backup or the top backup to Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis. Those would probably be the 2 biggest ones. I mentioned they're having some trouble in the interior offensive line. I don't know who their top backup guard or center is right now. Ben Brown would be, if he was healthy, their top backup center. Guard is wide open. James Hudson has been there. He struggled. They traded away Caden Wallace. He couldn't earn playing time. So, they signed Greg Van Roten today, who's a veteran. We'll see how he does. That one's been interesting, but it's just been, they're constantly rotating guys in and nobody is stuck.
I will say that Haskins at running back, he was with the Chargers for a few years. Great in pass protection, can make the splash play, but also a good special teamer as well. So probably having that versatility helps. One last question for you, Alex. Are you going to be going with the team out to Germany when they take on the Lions in November?
I will not. I host a show on 98.5 The Sports Hub on Sunday mornings before the game, so I will be here doing that. But I'm sure it's going to be a tremendous trip.
Oh, no, that'd be a great one to get on. Well, have a lot of fun with the rest of the camp. Enjoy the season, Alex. Maybe we can get you on again once it gets going.
Absolutely. Anytime, guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks so much for doing this. There you go. Alex Barth covering the New England Patriots at 98.5 The Sports Hub in Boston. And yeah, that last season, everything was going really good for him. And this season, I think it'll be a little bit tougher, but they got a good group. And I last year was saying I expected a fall off. I like what they did. You add depth in the offensive line through the draft, through free agency. You bring in AJ Brown, and long term, we'll see. But Romeo Doubs is a good player at the receiver position. Like you said, maybe some questions along the defensive line, but they go get Draymond Jones from the Ravens. That you invest in a couple guys through the draft defensively, and we know the Patriots have a history of drafting well and finding those late round gems. So we'll have to see how it plays out. Donnie, you'll see them twice a year. I'm sure you're excited for that.
Oh, so excited. And don't forget they added the first team All-Pro Kevin Byard.
Kevin Byard come over from Chicago.
7 picks last year. I don't know if people are going to be able to pass on that secondary.
Well, yeah. And that's what, like, the questions on the front, but on the back end, it's pretty good. That being said, if a quarterback has 5 seconds to throw,
this is true.
That can make you look a little worse than you are.
This is very true. However, when you do have Christian Gonzalez back there, Carlton Davis, and Kevin Byard, I think you're pretty set in your secondary. I don't think you could possibly get much better than that. So I think his comments about this is a better football team, but will have a worse record, I think that's very astute, because that's exactly how I would sum this team up myself.
Yeah, I mean, you obviously have the divisional matchup, but this year, obviously, with that, you get the Broncos as the number 1 seed. You'll get, who else? The Jags for the number 1 seed, or is it? No, yeah, Jags finished above the Texans, right? So that, tougher matchup there. They might actually prefer that rather than go against that pass rush of the Houston Texans. And then the North. Was it the Ravens or the Steelers?
They get the Steelers in week 2.
Yeah,
they
that
get
one's...
the Seahawks, the Steelers, the Jags. Their schedule is a pain in the rear end.
Dude, every team I think has a tough schedule.
Yes, especially the Dolphins, which is hilarious.
They're the Arch Manning, the March for Arch.
It is the March for Arch. However, it's time for Willie franchise, baby. Malik Willis.
Willie franchise.
Willie franchise.
No one's calling him that.
I've heard whispers.
You in your basement? Is it just you talking to yourself?
No. There's been another gentleman on the text line. I forget who it was, but Willie franchise, baby.
So look at this. So
lead us to 3 wins.
Just the Chargers from week 3 to 11. Bills, Seahawks, Broncos, Chiefs, Rams, Texans, Ravens. You look at the Broncos schedule. They kick off against the Chiefs, and they get the Jags, Rams, Niners, Chargers, Seahawks, followed by the Cards. I think you can do this with pretty much every team. It's going to be tough stretches throughout the season. But as the Macho Man said, the cream always rises to the top, right? We'll see what happens. But the March for Arch, or what'd you call him? Willie franchise?
Willie franchise.
Willie franchise. I'm rooting for him. I like the guy. I've said
I am
that.
too, obviously.
but
I do want them to still be bad.
Yeah, play good and lose.
Exactly.
Have fun, lose. Let's take our last breaker. When we come back, we'll let you know what's coming up on the Lowdown with Low Tide and the Jason Greger Show. Also, we'll take your text, 1-833-401-1440. It is The Frenzy, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Welcome to the Bro Zone, the ultimate garage setup for checking out the big game.
70-inch TV? Check. Surround sound? Check. Mini fridge fully stocked? Check.
But a legendary Bro Zone needs legendary snacks.
Wilhock Beef Jerky.
Load up on Alberta's best beef jerky. It's the perfect game day companion when you're watching from the ultimate fan cave.
Wilhock Beef Jerky, because you can't have summer fun with salad. Only available in Leduc.
Crispy, caramelized edges, a pillowy, airy center. Meet the new Papa John's Pan Pizza. Made with Parmesan and Romano cheeses, Papa John's special garlic sauce, and Italian seasoning, all baked directly into the bottom of the crust for a signature golden finish and crispy, savory crunch. Grab a medium pan pizza for just $16.99 today at your local Papa John's. Order now in the app or at papajohns.ca. Better ingredients, better pizza, Papa John's.
Tap into the fun of Play Alberta's most popular casino games. From the fast-paced spins of Cash Eruption to the retro thrills of Sevens Wild, online excitement is always at your fingertips. Spin through your choice of popular slots or discover Alberta-exclusive games you won't find anywhere else. Visit playalberta.ca/Gregor to learn more. That's playalberta.ca/Gregor. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
What's 426 divided by 12? Okay, if I carry the one. Yeah, we're out. Go Auto has a free credit calculator that does the math for you. See what you could qualify for, estimate your payments, and get a better idea of what's in your budget. Because shopping for a vehicle is exciting, but crunching numbers, yeah, not so much. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all sevens.
Tee up for a great day on the course and support the Stony Plain Eagles Senior Men's Hockey Club. It's the Stony Plain Eagles Golf Tournament. Gather your foursome and join the Eagles August 25th at the Links at Spruce Grove for a 2 p.m. shotgun start. Enjoy a fantastic afternoon of golf, great company, and friendly competition, all while supporting the Stony Plain Eagles. Get all the details and register today at stonyplaineagles.com.
I missed one payment, then another. Now I feel behind on everything. I can't keep up.
Falling behind happens to more people than you think, but there is a solution. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. Together, we can create a plan that fits your situation and helps you get caught up and back in control. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to book your free consultation and discover your debt-free future.
Caesars is Alberta's anytime, anywhere sportsbook. Stay in the action with your favorite teams and players. Whether you're camping, kayaking, or catching a show this summer, bet wherever you are, whenever you want. Plus, Caesars Sportsbook offers fast payouts and flex parlays, a new way to keep your bet alive even if a pick misses. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app today.
Must be 18 or older and physically present in Alberta to gamble. Must be 21 or older to use Caesars Sportsbook. If gambling is affecting your mental health or well-being, 211 Alberta is here to help. Call or text 211 or visit ab.211.ca. Standard message and data rates may apply. Please play responsibly.
Get your lineups and laughs right here on The Frenzy with Halley and Douglas on Sports 1440, presented by Wilhock Beef Jerky.
45. Welcome back to The Frenzy here on Sports 1440, brought to you by Wilhock Beef Jerky, home of Alberta's best beef jerky. You can text us 1-833-401-1440. Halley, Paulson, Fenwick, Young Connor in the studio with you here. Coming up next, it is the Lowdown Flow Tide. Donovan Paulson's going to linger around, hang out with the crew on the Lowdown. Also, former NHLer Sean Bell, Thursday co-host on the Tom Gazzola Show as well. And at 2 o'clock, it is the Jason Greger Show. Still piecing it together a little bit. I'll be sitting in for Jason. Tyson Shuskowicz going to join us from Blue Jays Nation. Talk about the Jays as they kick off their series with the Rays. Kind of been their kryptonite this year. We've got Terry Ryan, former NHLer, Shoresy star. Andrew Knoll covers the Ducks. Talk about the situation for the Anaheim Ducks right now. Get Cutter Gauthier. What's going to happen? Reports say he declined a $13 million deal. Ugh.
Uh-oh.
The roundtable, we got the oil report, we got spec. We'll do some NFL and CFL. Lots to get to today on the Jason Greger Show, so keep it locked here. Plus, we'll join the Jays game in progress on the AM dial. Are the Ducks screwed, Donnie?
Yep. They are pooch.
If you were a young Cutter Gauthier, I get wanting to get paid. $13 million a year is pretty nice for a young player. You don't have to sign 8 years. You know, you can just find kind of the middle ground. When I watch those teams, Leo Carlson, watching him cross the blue line with the puck, Donnie, I was like, this guy looks dangerous.
Yep.
Cutter Gauthier had 41 goals last year.
So
that's nothing to sleep on.
I know a lot of people want to say, oh, but the Ducks have all the leverage here. Do they, though? Do they? I know Cutter Gauthier doesn't have arbitration rights. However, he does have this little thing called, I was a 41 goal scorer last year. I can sit here as long as I want. You're still going to pay me. And I know you're going to pay me because if you don't have me, you're not a playoff team. I am your second best offensive player, maybe second best player overall. You can debate that amongst yourselves. I would have him third probably on that team behind Lacombe and Carlson.
Yeah.
But that's what his camp's saying. They're saying you're not a playoff team without him. You need this player. You have to pay the player. And that's that. Cutter Gauthier can afford to sit out as long as he wants. Make no mistake. Like, the player has all the leverage here.
Well, does he love hockey? Does he want to play? Does he want 13 mil isn't enough?
Well,
Cutter's
going to look out for Cutter. And that's very apparent here.
Yeah, we saw that with the trade out of Philadelphia, right? He'll dig in and do what he's got to do, and the Ducks will have to try to create some wiggle room. They have how much in cap space right now? Do you know?
I was just looking it up, and they have $9 million.
$9 million. So they got to do work to get this done. It would kick in the following season, I believe.
Cutter Gauthier? No, it'd be this year. He's an RFA right now.
Right now, yeah.
It is. They are pooched. They have some guys that they can trade, but teams are going to take them and rake them over the coals.
That AJ Greer deal is not looking
good.
That
AJ Greer deal, humongous mistake. They can trade out Frank Vetrano. They can trade out Killorn. They can trade out Kreider. But I can tell you that ain't going to be for free.
And you look in the next couple of years here, Donnie.
And they already look at their blue
Beckett,
line.
Seneca,
it's horrible.
Seneca has to get paid in 2 years.
They're screwed.
They've got Nick Jensen coming off the books, Ian Moore, Tyson Hines. Yeah.
It is.
Billy screwed them.
Billy did screw them, but they also screwed themselves. And this is kind of the memo is, for a guy in Pat Verbeek, you can play hardball all you want. But when it comes to franchise players, just pay them.
Yeah.
Just pay them. This could have been solved so easily when he said, just give me $15 million.
Yeah.
Or if they just would have caved and signed him before the season. Because the ask was $12 million.
Yeah. Well, I mean, hey, we saw that in Edmonton as well,
if
right?
He's your number one center, look at the trajectory of the cap.
And we saw it at a lower level with the Oilers. Like, it was Dylan Holloway, fine player. Philip Broberg, fine player. It wasn't the guy who's going to be leading your franchise. That's why you always sign him quick. Early if you have to.
See, I get waiting on a guy like Dylan Holloway, who at the time, and this is going to be unpopular, he had 9 goals in his NHL career. I get that. Now, would I have personally matched it? Yes, I would have, because I thought there was a real chance that he provided some level of value on only 2 point whatever million. I forget what it was at this point. I think it's 2.3. Like, that's at that point, could he have scored 15 goals in the Oilers jersey? Absolutely. And that at the time was at the very least a $2.5 million player. So I thought there was a chance that he could have provided value, but like, I get waiting and being patient on a player like that, where he hasn't shown you a hell of a lot to inspire giving him that big ticket. But on a guy who's shown you he is your franchise number one center, just pay the man. You don't need to play hardball.
And that's what I'm saying, though. Like, that's a lesser extent. This is like, you had McDavid and Draisaitl. You're like, okay, let's wait and see. This was Carlson and Gauthier, guys who are your top 2 point producers. And they're 21 and 20 years old.
Yep. And then you're going to get that Beckett Seneca extension. You got Pavel Mintyukov, which absolutely screwed you, because I'm not a Mintyukov guy. But even if you are, he sure ain't a $7 million defenseman. That was a guy who's projected coming in for like $4 million.
Yeah, they're in some trouble. Lon says, how do the Ducks screw this up? you handle your guys. Handle your guys. 1-833-401-1440. Scalding Gord, how many days till the Steelers preview? Okay, well, we're on New England, so we got to do New York, New Orleans. Any O teams? No Ottawa Red Blacks.
Yeah, no Ottawa Red Blacks. No Orlando Solar Bears.
So I'm thinking in next week or Friday, one of the two. We'll be doing that. Don't sleep on those Saints, Trailer Park Ryan says. Shuck around and find out. Well, I'm a little sleepy on those Saints. Jordan Tyson, done for a couple months with a hamstring. That was the key for this guy coming out of college. Got to stay healthy. Won't be healthy for the start of the season. But I'm not sleeping on him. I'm like, I hit the snooze button, maybe.
Call me crazy. Any team in that division can win the division.
No, that's the most logical thing anyone could say.
So, I'm not sleeping on the Saints purely for that fact. And if Tyler Shuck can be exactly what he was to end the season, which was, listen, he wasn't a world beater by any means, but he came on and showed you that he's a competent NFL quarterback. If he can be competent, I honestly think that's enough to win them the division.
I'm high on the Panthers as well. I love what they did, adding money to that defense also. But
Bryce Young has to be good.
Yeah,
and
he can be good.
He can be good, but he can also be terrible.
Well, Tyler Shuck could be terrible.
But Tyler Shuck, honestly, has Tyler Shuck in his limited sample size played almost as many good games in his career as Bryce Young has? Okay. I could make the argument he probably has.
Well, maybe he should. He's 26 years old.
This is true. But also, at what point you got to show out? And Bryce Young, as much as he showed out, I thought he showed out really well in the playoff game last year. But
he took down the Rams, man.
He showed out against the Rams. But then there's this absolute disconnect between him and consistency. He can go out there and throw for 140 yards and 0 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, or he can go out there and throw for 270 and 3 tutties and with no picks. But I don't know what you're getting from Bryce Young. I still don't have a clue.
He's kind of got that Trevor Lawrence in him. Well, I don't really know.
But he's small. And that's
okay. Drew Brees was small. We're talking Saints. I'm not comparing Bryson to Drew Brees. I'm not doing that. Don't act.
Good. Because I would have been like, Connor.
I'm not doing it. Maybe I'll do another lunch bet with you. Panthers or Saints.
We can do that. I might lean Saints, but I think I have to wait another week or two before I actually decide. I'm so torn on what that division's going to actually turn out to be.
MTR is just pretty small. He's a hooper. Also, Herbert's cooking the Niners secondary, Connor. Well, good. I look forward to watching those highlights tonight. But it's at camp. We'll see. We'll see. You can't get too excited at training camp. Appreciate all the texts, guys. We ran out of time. We can't even get to them all.
I don't know if you shouted out Jay and Victoria for stopping over at Wilhawk, but he sent us a picture with his bag of beef jerky.
Oh,
right
shout
off
out.
the top.
That's awesome. That is awesome, Jay. Well done. Well done. Okay. Thank you guys for tuning in. Up next, it is the Lowdown Flow Tide, followed by the Jason Greger Show. We got to get to an update with Donovan Paulson. Brought to you by the Edmonton Elks. Kick off the second half of the season with a 5-game ticket pack and get a $25 voucher. Get your half-season pass today at goelks.com/tickets. Edmonton Elks, our city, our year.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Your Toronto Blue Jays are back in action today against the Tampa Bay Rays. First pitch flying at 4:40. Jose Soriano on the bump for Toronto. Nick Martinez for Tampa Bay. The New York Yankees, they are in Baltimore. The Phillies host the Marlins. The Tigers, they clash with the Pirates. Guardians look to bounce back and get themselves back into a playoff hunt against the Giants. And the D-backs look to bounce back against the Boston Red Sox. Some NFL news. Najee Harris has signed with the New York Giants. Coming up, it is the Lowdown of Flow Tide. I'm Donovan Paulson. That's your Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station.